Okay, can everybody hear me? Testing, testing. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see all of you guys in here. Hopefully we'll get some more people in here too. Good morning, Chris, Joseph, Nicholas, Stephanie. How is everybody today? Doing good, ready to get started? Yes, very excited to have you guys here. This is a really kind of a pivotal moment for you guys because this is the first class rollout of DGD101 for the 5 credit hour classes here. You guys are the first students to roll out in this course and the beginning of the 5 credit hour courses here. And it's exciting for me because I get to teach this class. So very, very, very excited. All right, so welcome. We're going to get started here. Week 1, live lecture 1. It is April 28th, Tuesday, and my name is April. I was born in August though, so I always get that question, so I figured I'd put that out there. My name is April Biss. You can just call me by my first name, April, that's fine. Yeah, it's a long story. Well, it's actually not a long story. My dad was actually born in April and I was supposed to be a boy, so hence I was supposed to be his name, and since I wasn't a boy when I was born, he said, can I name her after my birth month? So it's a little short story there. So welcome, you guys. I'm excited, like I said, to teach this class. I'm going to just kind of welcome you guys with just this little introduction of what this course is all about. And I'm sure you've kind of perused through Canvas just to see what you guys, hopefully you look through just to see what you guys are going to be doing as well. So basically, we're going to be looking at the digital tools in visual communication. You guys are all wanting to be graphic designers. So this is a good foundational class to get you started on best practices for using your software and your hardware. So you will learn basic function and utility of industry standard hardware and software. Workflow, which is super important, and it's something that you don't think about until you're actually in the working world. And I will share some of my stories as well, including file organization and file management, time management, and system backup maintenance. So you guys are pretty much dealing with time management now as a student. So that's really good to kind of get into those habits going forward. Again, my name is April Biss. Just a little bit about me. I am like, woo, I'm ready to go in this class. I just drank my ketones, so I'm like super energized. So if I speak too quickly, I'm going to try to slow down my the way that I talk, so I'm not going too fast. So if I am speaking too quickly, let me know. Hi, Shannon. We got Shannon in here. We're going to be hopefully introducing you here in a second. Welcome, welcome. Shannon is our lab instructor for this class. So before we turn it over to her, just a little bit about me. I've been teaching here at IU for about 8 years now, and not only am I an instructor, but I'm also an FPA, faculty program advisor, and I might be yours. So good morning. So basically, I've been teaching here for 8 years. I love it. I love what I do. Hopefully, it shows in how I instruct. I am inspired by you guys as much as hopefully you're inspired by me. So just a little bit about me, and we'll go forward here. Here's my contact information, my email, my work phone, and also just my little personal link here if you want to check out my work, which is always nice to see what your instructors are working on. You can definitely check that out. But I have been working in the field for about 20 years. And I've worked for in-house ad agencies. I've worked for publication companies, and I also run my own freelance business. So I kind of have a nice balance with the freelance and teaching. It's a practice and teaching type of a balance there. But I do have experience working at ad agencies in Pittsburgh. That's where I'm actually from, and I'm currently living. I also have had in-house jobs for ad agencies in Akron, Ohio. I lived there for 6 years. And then also I moved to Tampa, Florida soon after that and worked for several publications down there as well. So I have a very a wide variety of experiences and places that go Akron, that I've worked for. So hopefully I can bring those experiences to you guys within this course and just kind of give you, that real-time work experience and story, so that you guys can kind of get the understanding of why certain things are important to understand and learn, and going forward to be successful. 8 years ago, and I like to say this to everybody and all my students, 8 years ago, I went back, actually I graduated with my Master's of Arts degree from Savannah College of Art and Design. And I did not go to the actual on-ground campus. I did it all online. So I like to tell you guys that because I have been in your shoes. I have been the online design student. So, and it's definitely different than an on-ground experience. And I've done that as well. But I like to tell you guys that because I've been in your shoes. I know exactly what you're dealing with in terms of the pros and cons of being a design student. So, if you have anything that you're struggling with, let me know. There are definitely pros and cons of it. So, but I think that the pros definitely outweigh the cons, because we have so much access to resources now as online students. It is great. But sometimes we get a little bit, the whole critique session part can get a little tricky, but hopefully I can, because I have that experience, work around some of those issues and give you the best feedback possible. So, I also, just a little bit of a personal side note, I have a 6-year-old daughter. She just turned six last week. We just had a birthday party for her, via Zoom. So I guess that's the new normal, right? I hate saying new normal, but Kesha, you said, would you say it was easier being online or on ground? I would say both are, my master's, going through the graduate program was very intense. And it had both challenges, just like on-ground challenges. I think the only thing that I could see as being a con is not just being, face-to-face with your instructor, but I think it's all in how your instructor works with you too. So, it definitely has pros in terms of, your instructor can reach out to you, on certain days that they may have not been able to on ground. So in that regards, I like that, that option. So, I'm sorry, Keisha, sorry. Okay. Yeah. So, my daughter just turned 6. Her name's Amelia, and I have a 1-year-old wiener dog named Santino. You'll probably hear him throughout, maybe, hopefully not. I have him upstairs right now, our lectures, because he is, a little barker, but yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Like I said, I love what I do. You guys, I learn from you guys too. So yes, so definitely contact me. I'm here for you. That's what we're here for you guys. So don't feel like you're bothering me in any way. I'm here to help you through. If you're running into an issue, I'd rather you kind of just shoot me an email, text me, call me. Say, hey, I have a little problem. Don't feel like you're bothering me. So, all right. So Shannon just came in here. Shannon, for those of you who do not know her, she is also an instructor and FPA here at IU. And she actually is going to be, I'm going to call her our wing woman in this class.
Oh, I like that.
She's going to swoop in and hopefully help us out for the duration of the 4 weeks of this class. And she has already posted a lot of great resources and announcements. I'm sure you guys probably have checked that out. But I'm going to kind of turn it over to her. If you want to introduce yourself, go ahead.
Hi everyone, so I am Shannon McNamara and I will be your lab instructor this mod. So what you can do is you can reach out to me anytime that you need to. If you need some extra help, if you need me to take a look at something for you, I'm definitely here to help you guys out. In the course announcements, there is an announcement with a little short quiz, a link to a quiz at the end. If you haven't gone into the announcements to read that and take that quiz yet, I would love for you to be able to get in there and do that today. And you'll also see that I have shared a schedule with my multi-session times. for the course. And also there is going to be a Spark page that you can follow along with, where I will be putting short, kind of chunked up videos for you guys, and you know, just little things to help you out throughout the mod. That should be under the, yep, hold on to this link. So that will be the Spark page that you can, you know, bookmark, follow along with. I'll also be posting it, a link to it each week in the discussion board, so you can find it in there. And just a little bit about me. I have been a graphic designer for over 20 years now, and I live up in Massachusetts, so I'm also on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time. You can text me, you can email me. Just be aware of the time zone change if you're trying to get in touch with me. If it's late, you know, you won't hear back until the next morning from me, but don't hesitate to reach out. And I have a 2.5-year-old and a 1-year-old, and because of the new normal, everyone is home and everyone is here. So they're upstairs, luckily, right now. But I'm sure some of you can relate if you have, you know, your kids at home, or you might be working from home, or other things going on. So we're all just trying to figure this all out together. But seriously, don't hesitate to reach out if you need any extra help or any guidance, need help finding things. You know, we're both here to help you out this mod.
All right, great. Thank you, Shannon. Yeah, she's I love Shannon because she's so relatable to everybody. She just is, she's packed full of resources and helpful information. And you can definitely tell her passion for teaching. And that just, that, you know, that definitely helps and definitely shows. And you guys are going to love her. So if you find out, you know, you're having some struggles, you know, reach out to me or her. You know, you can reach out to me if obviously I don't have and I don't want to say have time, but say I'm scheduled for something else, you will definitely, I'll point you to her. So, you know, she will be our wing woman for this class. Yes. Thank you, Shannon. All right. As we go forward here, that's great, Chris. Yay. That's my ketones talking in the morning here. That's a little added push. All right. So just a little, what are we doing today? Okay. Thanks, Shannon. All right, great. So we're just going to go over the course overview just very quickly. You guys probably already looked over a lot of this stuff. So what I really want to do is go over just a couple house cleaning ish stuff going on right now. And then we're going to go into, you know, basically our discussions and our demos for the assignment and the assessment. So I can get you guys started. Okay. All right, so quickly here, course overview. What will this course accomplish? Basically, what are you going to walk out learning in this course? Class expectations, what to do if you can't meet a deadline, week 1 overview, learning objectives for this week, week 1 discussions overview, file storage and computer performance, cloud storage, what it is and why you use it, popular cloud storage. We'll discuss also computer maintenance. So a few things, it looks like a lot, but we'll kind of do it one step at a time here. So course objectives, and this is listed in Canvas too. So basically what I did was I just copied and pasted in here. This is basically what you're gonna walk away from after the 4 weeks of this course learning. So you're gonna understand and utilize proper file organization and file storage methods. Why do you guys think that's important? Understanding the proper way to organize and do file storage. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Yeah, saves time, you don't lose things. You know, it's kind of crazy, but you know, you might be the most organized person, but you could find yourself walking into a situation working for somebody who isn't. I've had those experiences too. So, you know, just be aware that you, even though you could be really good at it, and that's great, maybe you can rub off on other people, but you might be walking into a situation that others aren't that you're working with. So we'll talk about that. Understand and utilize the digital tools used in visual communication, just kind of get a great foundation of what's available. I put this is my little wiener dog. It looks like him. It's not actually him, but I just threw him in here just for fun. Implement effective time management and design workflow practices to meet deadlines in a timely manner, because time is money, so it's important to be as efficient as possible as a designer. Understand and utilize proper computer maintenance practices. So we're just going to discuss, some common sense things and maybe some things that you didn't realize or, didn't know before. So what's going on this week, this little guy wants to know. So for this week, that's basically a roundup of what we're going to be learning in the 4 weeks of this class. But now we're going to talk about this week, what you'll be walking away from. So it's kind of stepping it out into one thing at a time, which is great. We're going to analyze appropriate system backup options and identify the capabilities of cloud-based versus external hard drive backups in storage systems. A lot of you guys are getting this conversation started in the discussions, and I've read over some of your posts. So it's great to see that you guys already have a lot of knowledge with this. So keep up the good work in that regards. Navigate industry standard hardware to enact effective file organization and file structure practices. Discuss the ways strategic backup, system backup, and computer maintenance lead to hardware and software longevity, keep getting that so that it lasts longer. Navigate industry standard hardware to enact effective system maintenance and system backup practices. And lastly, discuss how utilizing cloud storage to save work can optimize a computer performance. So those are the things that we're going to be walking away from learning this week. And prior to that, pretty much the whole class course objectives. In terms of class expectations, this is, again, kind of common sense here. Just communicate with me. I'm a very flexible person. If I know that you're having struggles and challenges, and contact me, communicate right away so that I can be flexible with you guys. Turn your work in on time. That's a no-brainer, right? Participate in the discussions. I used to think when I was this is kind of a funny story. When I was doing online classes for my graduate studies at SCAD, I had to do, just like you guys, every week we had to do a discussion. And I used to think, oh, this is going to be a big waste of time. Why are we doing this? Maybe you think that too, but it's crazy. At the end of my year there, I was like, that is something that I totally didn't even expect getting anything from. But at the end, I was like, that is the discussions is where I learned the most. And what I mean by that is you get what you put into it. So if you have a class that just kind of doesn't really put too much thought into the discussions, and you don't put any thought-provoking questions in there for your peers, you're not going to get as much from it. Because I had the ability to be with my peers that were really engaged in there, I learned so much, because what they would do is they would poke holes in my theories. They would turn it and say, hey, you didn't look at it this way. You can see it in a different way. So it was really cool to get all those different perspectives. So I learned a lot, more so than I thought, but it's all in what you put into it too. So learn something new every week. This is something that hopefully you will in this class, and just have fun. We are here to work hard, but we're also here to have fun, experiment. Don't have fear of failure at all, because this is why you're here, to learn. So that's all part of it. What if you can't make a deadline, can't meet a deadline? Email me, reach out to me before you miss a deadline, or your lab instructor. There you go. I always learn new things. If you don't learn, you don't grow. Exactly. And learning is hard, and I say that in regards to, like, people are very, have a lot of anxieties and fear, but that's a good thing, because that you gain confidence as you learn new things, and then that fear and that anxiety hopefully goes away. So, but anyway, reach out to me or the lab instructor. We're here for you, and include the following in your email or your text: reason for missing the deadline, and then when you will be turning in the assignment assessment to me, exact day and time. We really want you guys to all come out of here with an A and learn things. You don't necessarily have to have an A, but passing the course, we want you to do the best that you can do. So we're here for you guys. All right. So I did a little bit of an overview about me. Now I want you to kind of just let me know where you guys are all from and where you're currently living in the chat area there. If you want to go ahead and type in there. How many people do we have in here? Okay. Cumberland, Maryland, Maine, Stephanie, cool. Jose, Maine. It's kind of interesting to see where everybody is from and where they're living at. Chris, I am Memphis, Tennessee, but relocated here to California in 2018. Okay, that's a big move. Nicholas, you're from Littleton, Colorado. Okay. Austin, Temple, Texas. So you guys are all over, drove the whole way. Oh my. That is a long drive. Keisha, Ohio, originally from Tennessee. Wow, okay, great. Yeah, I moved from, Chris, I moved, and probably is shorter than your trip, but I moved from Pittsburgh, actually Ohio to Florida, and we drove, and then from Florida back to Pittsburgh, and we drove. So it's definitely with like 2 cats and a dog too, so that was kind of crazy. Moving is never fun. But it's great to see where you guys are from. You know, there's an introduction in Canvas. Make sure that you're posting that as well. Akron to Denver 8 years ago. Wow. Yeah, that could be a nice trip, but it's all depending upon the reason too. Never will do it again. That's funny. Yeah, so moving is definitely, I've moved probably every 2 years. For the past 20 years, and I'm not in the military, so everybody's always like, are you in the military? No, I'm not in the military, but I just like to move around. Actually I don't, but you know, sometimes we just have to do that. So let me go back here into discussions. Discussions, again, just make sure that your post, there's a little intro discussion area here. I'm gonna click on here, and I started it off. So go ahead and read through this prompt. If you haven't, oh, I see some people already put in here, great. Just, you know, kind of, this is where you're networking, by the way. So start your networking here. And you guys can get to know each other. This is where online education, where, you know, it's key to network with your fellow peers any way possible, and starting with the discussions, starting with your intros, learn about each other, where you're from, you know, get connected. That's really pivotal. We're going to be talking about that in future weeks here about networking. But go ahead and put all of your information there. Thank you. Yeah, I've only had one student lived probably 30 minutes from me that I taught many years ago. So it was kind of cool to see, you know, to see that, because usually everybody's really far away. All right, so we're going to talk about now, the next thing is researching. So welcome everybody. Researching computer maintenance. We're going to talk about that because you guys are going to be discussing this in the discussions. You have 2 discussions to participate in this week, as well as all the other weeks going forward. So just kind of keep that in mind. Researching cloud-based storage, we're going to talk about that in your discussions as well. We'll go over your discussions, see if you have any questions, and then we'll get right into the other 2 things here, which pertain to your assignment and your assessment. So creating a file structure and setting up maintenance on your computer, and creating a presentation on system backup. All right, so we know where you're from. Go ahead and post in your intro post just a little bit about you. You can even post pictures of yourself or your family members or your fur babies, whatever you choose to do. You know, the more human we can make ourselves. Actually, let me pop on my camera here so you guys can see me, because, you know, it's nice to see who's talking. See if hi, can you see me? So I can't, you know, they tell us not to have the camera on for too long because it takes up too much memory. So I just wanted to turn it on because I'm having kind of a better hair day, but it kind of makes us more human that you can see us. And that's one of the cons of being an online student, is you don't get to sit next to me or by me or in the classroom, but we can turn on, you know, I can turn on my camera and say hello and, you know, humanize myself a little bit more. So this is me. And, you know, like I said, we're going through it this time, you know, just like you guys, with all the kids being home and homeschooling. So I'm going to be kind of like you might see my 6-year-old flying around, on the Zoom and stuff like that. So, we're all going through it, and but we'll get through it together. So, all right. So I just wanted to say hello. I'm going to stop my video now. All right. So let's talk about researching computer maintenance, because we were talking about how, computer maintenance is super important, because we want to make sure that we as designers are maintaining things that we're using as a tool to make money. So, computer maintenance is super important. We want to be efficient designers too, because time is money. And so we're going to look at some scenarios here, keeping your computer hardware and software healthy. There's 3 different scenarios, 3 different people we're going to talk about: Sandy, James, and Letitia. Excuse me. So we're going to talk about their scenarios here, and you're going to chime in the chat area and kind of maybe suggest some helpful suggestions for each of these people here. So let's go into it here, and let's talk about scenario 1, which is Sandy. So Sandy's problem, she saves files to her desktop. How many of you guys do that? Oh, there you go. Go for that. That's good. Okay. I know some of you guys are doing it, because sometimes when you share your screen, the desktop's full of stuff, right? Okay, so Sandy, so that's good. It's okay to save to your desktop, but for important files, it's not so okay. And we'll talk about that in a second here. Yep, bad maintenance can lead to hardware failure. Had to replace my dad's Wi-Fi chip in his laptop. Oh no, that's not fun. Austin, I have in my files, because I actually just broke my personal gaming computer at home because I froze the hard drive. Okay, so you guys probably have a lot of personal experiences, maybe somebody that especially parents. Parents are, I know my parents are always like, I come visit and they hand me over their computer and say, can you just fix this? And I'm like, if you would have just done this, this, and this. So I'm sure you guys have a lot of stories too. Okay, so Sandy saves files to her desktop. She can't find her files because she has too many. They overlap each other. She doesn't know where else to save her files. Her computer keeps freezing. So why is this making her computer freeze up? Why do you think? And where should she save her files? Using too much RAM. Yep. Save them into her documents. Good. Yes, Stephanie. Perfect. Keisha, her computer thinks every file is important. Yep, too many files. Yep, you guys are spot on. Yep. So should there be an organization in this new spot? Yes, definitely. Yeah. So if you have a problem, you see a friend that has this issue, or maybe you're having this issue too, know that there's definitely a better way to do this. Some folders, yep, organization. We're going to talk about that. Good. So that's the first scenario. Sandy, get your stuff together, right? James, scenario 2. So James downloaded over 1,000 new fonts on his computer. His programs take forever to open, like Word or Illustrator, and he doesn't know why his computer is not working properly. So in this case, what do you think? Why is this making his programs open slowly? Too many fonts? Yep, too many fonts. No memory. So what should he do to fix the problem? Uninstall fonts. Good. Get rid of a few. Yep. Backup. Zip. Yep. Yep. So it's not easy. Think of like your computer as being like a fridge full of stuff. And there, this is kind of like he's putting so much stuff in here, the fridge is full. So there's no space. You guys got it perfectly. Yep. So the disk is almost full, and it's very bad news for any drive to have a full disk. So a hard disk should never get beyond 85% capacity, especially a startup disk. If that's the case, you will experience slowness and errors the further you get above the mark. So, if your startup disk is full and you get a message of warning from, say, your computer or Mac, PC or Mac, this is really a serious indication that you need to free up storage immediately. So how do you fix that? And you guys basically said delete files from your computer, move files to an external hard drive or cloud storage, or you can install a second internal hard drive on your Mac. Yep. So Chris, great question. What are some good drives for our Mac computer from your experience? Are you talking about external or cloud based? Okay. You know what I've used? I go on Amazon and I actually just use, let me go grab mine actually. Let me see if I can show you guys. My external. Mine's a Seagate. And let me turn on my camera here. You guys can see it. And it's really little. It's a little Seagate. And I think I got this on Amazon for like, I would say probably less than $20. And you just plug it in and you see how thin it is. Seagate is a good option that's cross, you can use that on a PC and a Mac, and they're inexpensive. And you can get, like nowadays, you can get like a terabyte for super cheap. Yeah. And I think this is 1 terabyte. So let me stop my video here. So, yeah, Seagate's a good, I always stick with them. Like my last one was a Seagate too, and I still have that. The only thing you have to kind of be aware of is some of these, based on your system software, eventually may not be able to, it's kind of like printers too. When your system software gets updated, certain external printers or external hard drives become a little harder to update. So for instance, I had to just buy that external that I just showed you a year ago, because the other one that I had for so long, I could not save onto anymore. I had space, but because my system software was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ahead of the actual external. So that is a con, I guess. I can still pull from it. My stuff is still saved on it. I just can't put any more files onto it. Yeah. Yep. So that's a great option for an external. I've had no issues with that in regards to that brand. Okay. So, and then scenario 3, you know what? I've had larger drives. Let me tell you something. It's so funny that you asked that, because I had one that was really big, and this was like 15, almost 20 years ago that I bought this bigger, because they didn't have more condensed options back then, so I had to get it. And it wasn't huge, but it was kind of a pain in the butt, because it was kind of like, where do you fit it on your desk? And then if you travel with it, if you're a freelancer and you're kind of meeting with a client and you put this big clunky thing on top of the table, it's like, it's kind of a little awkward and hard to travel with. So I would say, yeah, I would advocate for smaller drives if you can. It's just easier, so, and they make them more, condensed now. Okay. So we have scenario 3 here. So Letitia's trash can is super full. She is afraid if she empties the trash can, she might need one of the files later. And we're talking about the trash can on your computer. She keeps getting a hard drive almost full error message. Why is this practice causing an error message? Why do you think? Zip drives are useful, yeah. Yep, the items in the trash can still taking up space. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that, but items in the trash can are still taking up space. Yep. What should she do to fix the problem? Empty it, right? Empty that trash can, file empty. What other options does she have for keeping files but freeing up her hard drive space? What do you think? Yep, check out. Yep, cloud-based or external, right? A lot of people, I've seen actual students go into their trash can and open up files from there. I'm like, no, don't do that. If you don't want to leave important files in there, because you can accidentally trash them. So make sure that you have them on your hard drive, not your desktop. If your computer were to crash and you had all of your important projects on your desktop and not on your hard drive, what do you think will happen? There you go, flash drive too, yep. Gone. Cloud-based is good, flash drive, CD even, yep. But then reliable, yep, it will be deleted. I've had students in that situation say I had saved all of my projects on my desktop and my computer crashed and they can't resurrect the files because it was on the desktop, not the hard drive. Yep. So just an important, you know, it's one of the things sometimes you got to learn the hard way sometimes, but hopefully you guys don't go through that. Just a little story. When I worked for an ad agency in Ohio, this was probably 15 years ago, this particular place used to do backups on these little like tapes every day. And what they would do is they would have somebody take that tape home after it backed up every day so that if the place burned down or if things were stolen at the place, we would still have a backup at somebody's house. So, yep, Dropbox, good. Yep, you learned for your mom the hard way. Yep. Listen, I'm human. I'm a professional. I've been working for 20 years. I still have things that I do that I'm like, you know, why did I do that? I think I was a graduate student the one time and I forgot, I accidentally trashed my file project that I worked on for like 8 hours the one day. I trashed it by accident because I didn't have it where it should have been. And I turned my computer off, went back to it, and I literally was in tears. I was like, oh my God. And like that takes, I know you probably, maybe you've been in a similar situation, it takes the wind out of your sails. It's like, you don't want to, it's like the energy, it's just bad. And I should have known better. So if you have, you know, you want to make sure you have it in, you know, several different places. I always like to tell my students, put the file on a cloud-based storage, put it on an external, email it to yourself, put it somewhere, you know, have different options so that, you know, if that were to happen, you could, yep. Yeah, and it's hard. Yeah, an email. Yep. It's hard when you go backwards. You don't want to go that way. So just some things to think about. Those scenarios are good to kind of think about what you would do. And it seems like you guys are all pretty privy to some good methods there. So as far as your backup of your computers, we'll talk about that. Yep. I was working on a 3-hour long image edit and gone. Yep. So you guys probably are have many horror stories of your own. And, you know, it happens to the best of us. You know, I've been working for a long time in the field and I was a graduate student. So I knew what to do and what not to do. And I still did something wrong. So it happens. We're all human too. So just try to prevent that as much as possible. Okay, so keeping your computer hardware and software healthy. So you have your hardware, which is your computer, your physical computer. And then you have your software, which is what kind of runs off of your computer. Yes, everybody makes mistakes, exactly. So at least 15% of your hard drive space needs to be free in order to run smoothly. Empty your trash can regularly, we just talked about that. A cluttered desktop makes things disorganized and hard to find, but it can also slow computers down. And having too many open browser tabs can slow down your computer as well. You know, it's kind of like my 6-year-old on her iPad, and she has like, you know, 50 million other apps running in the background. It's like teaching her, you know, if you close that out, your other game will run faster. Okay, let's talk about cloud storage. You know, you guys have all heard this term, maybe are using it now. I know some of you guys are using it. Can you guys list some things, maybe some apps of cloud storage that are available that maybe you have used in the chat here that you know of or heard of? And we're going to talk about what is it and why you use it. Google Cloud, iCloud, good. Dropbox, perfect. Yes, I use Dropbox. I use iCloud, yep, good. So OneDrive, good. So you can share your files, mega. You can free up disk space on your computer. You can back up your files. You can access your files from anywhere on any device with a cloud storage app. You know, I was trying to explain this to my parents who are in their 70s, and it's kind of a little hard for them to transition to something like this, and I understand it. But you know, getting the pros and cons of it and what's best for certain instances is basically what you're going to be discussing in this class for the discussions as well, just so that you know what options are available. So cloud storage, it basically, like you guys said, involves stashing data on hardware in a remote physical location, which can be accessed from any device via the internet. So clients send files to a data server maintained by a cloud provider instead of, or as well as storage on their own hard drives. And like you said, there are other options out there available. So basically it involves using the internet to send a copy of your data to an offsite server. The free options tend to give you less storage overall, while fee-based options tend to give you more space. So it'll kind of give you like a warning if you're getting to that limit. It'll say, you know, you're running out of space. Do you want more space? And then you can have the option to purchase more if you're in that free zone. So when using a cloud-based backup device, you can either manually click and drag files and back up as needed, or schedule your computer to back itself up on certain days or times. So cloud-based options are really great for people that want to access their files from different places. If you're at home, you can use a desktop computer to access your cloud storage, but if you're away on vacation, you can still access that same cloud-based information from a mobile device, which is nice. So this is very convenient for people that are constantly on the go and need flexibility in accessing their information. Occupations, that, you know, people who benefit from this type of flexibility, you know, include real estate agents, professional photographers, business consultants, graphic designers, for instance. So that's what the cloud storage is. And you're going to look at pros and cons of each. And as some of you have mentioned, some of these are I have laid these out here so you can kind of see the differences. But Google Drive is a cloud storage app, and that has 15 gigabytes of free storage space available. Access to Google One apps, and these are kind of the pros. Syncs with Google Hangout Meets. So those are the pros of Google Drive, the options there. And then Dropbox is 2 gigabytes of free storage space. Block syncing for backup, so it kind of syncs as your computer is on. It'll back up as you know during the day, so that it's keeping everything up to date. Share files with anyone as well, so you can kind of, you know, that's nice. And I do that a lot with students too. I'll share templates that way. Or if files get too big to upload to Canvas, I say to students, send me a link, a Dropbox link or whatever, so that I can, you know, download your file easily. Creative Cloud, 15 gigabytes of free storage space, access to Google One app, syncs with Google Hangout Meets as well. So those are some sharing files. Okay, yep, so there you go. Google Drive has a lot of options too, yeah. So we just talked about cloud-based apps. Let's talk about keeping your computer hardware and software healthy. You want to make sure your computer and application are up to date. Now, this is kind of a little list here. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, so here's a little list here of how you can check this. If you go to your settings, you can go to update and security and Windows Update. If you have, you know, obviously I have a PC. I don't have a PC, so I'm kind of going off of this as a list here. You can go also to your help file menu, check for updates or options, and then check updates there. And then the Creative Cloud, which is for both PC and Mac, you can go to the desktop app and look for updates. I'm going to show you here real quick how you would check that. Let me share my desktop. So I'm gonna just hide that so you guys, okay. So up here, you can check for updates on this little, if you have a little favicon for your cloud, you can check updates here for your cloud, you know, programs that you updated. There's a little update option here so you can see if everything's up to date. Sometimes if you have it set up to send you automatic updates, it'll just do it automatically, or if you want it to give you an alert, it can do that as well. You can also, if you're on a Mac, which I am, go to your, let's see about this Mac. You can check also here, I'm going to show you this. You can check your system software here by going up to your Apple About This Mac. You can go to your software update here, which I don't know. mine's up to date, but if you click on software update, you can see if it's up to date there. And then also, we were talking about storage, this is where you can check your storage and how much storage is available and how much that you're using. So this is kind of nice to know if you are, getting those errors or kind of want to see where you're at storage wise. So that's where you would find that. Okay. Hold on one second, guys. I just lost, I think I just lost my slide. Did I close out? Any questions about that? I know, and stop me if I'm talking too quickly. Sometimes I get excited and then I talk too quickly and everybody's like, okay, wait, I'm back. Like, I don't know what you're saying. Okay. All right. I lost my, I lost my slide here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go grab it. I thought I Spark. I think I just X'd out of it by accident. Give me 1 second here. This is the first time I'm using Spark Pages for presentations, so, kind of bear with me here. Okay, back at it. All right, so those are, that's kind of something that you can do to check to see if your system is up to date or needs updated, and, just kind of keep that in mind when you go forward. Sometimes it doesn't tell you that it needs to be updated, so it's good to kind of check that. Okay. Or, you could be working, you could have a situation where you're working for somebody else and using their computer. So that's how you can check too. Back up your data regularly. So you can go to settings, update and security and choose backup. Oh, somebody shared a screenshot here. Delete unnecessary files and programs using disk cleanup. So there's actually, there you go. Backing up, good. I just got your screenshot there. Thank you. Should we save documents to iCloud? It's completely up to you on what you want to do. I'm going to leave that up to you. We're going to kind of show you one way to access in your assessment today, a cloud-based app. So if you want to wait and see from there, you can kind of make that decision. Delete unnecessary files and programs using disk cleanup. You can go right-click on your C drive. This is on a PC, by the way. Choose properties in disk cleanup. Mac does a little differently. Oh, I forgot to show you too. Mac has a time machine. Has anybody ever used time machine before? Let me stop sharing and I'll share them. If you go up to the Apple, and this is again if you're on a Mac, you can have, go up to Apple and then choose System Preferences. And the Time Machine option is available here. Now, I did not choose my backup because I just recently got this computer. So I'm still kind of in the process of setting things up. But this is where you can select your disk, your hard drive to be backed up. And you can do automatic backup so that if something were to happen to your computer and you were to get, say it fried, and then, well, maybe not the hard drive, but maybe the computer, something happened to the computer, the hard drive's fine, but you needed to transfer that information over. That is saved so that you can do so very easily when you get a new computer. You were scared to touch it. Don't be scared to touch it. Maybe I can do a little demo for there because I actually didn't do it yet. I did it on my other computer, but like I said, I just got a brand new computer just recently, so I haven't done a lot of and I should do it, system setups right now. All right, so you can do that, this right here on a PC. Like I said, I'm on a Mac, so I can't show you that, but that's how you would do so on a PC. From Windows Maintenance Scan, so you can right-click on your C drive. If you're in a PC, you can choose Properties, Tools tab, and then Error Checking. Okay, yep. So it's just a nice way to save backups that are currently on your hard drive. Let's see here. Okay, check your startup list. Too many programs and apps that start when your computer will slow it down. So, I always tend to, if I don't need a lot of my programs open, I just close out of them. You can do so if you're on a PC, open Task Manager, click Startup tab, disable the programs you do not need to start automatically. If you're on a Mac, you can do your launch pad and see what's open, or on your dock, if you have a dock down below, like I have one down below on my screen, you can see that what's open and kind of quit out of there. All right, so Mac backup, again, Time Machine is available. It's a built-in backup feature of your Mac. It's a complete backup solution, but you can use other backup methods as well. And then just the obvious, clean your computer. I just did this recently because, I have a little 6-year-old that has cheesy fingers. I don't usually have her on my computer, but sometimes it happens. But I bought a special cleaning solution that you can get on Amazon for real cheap, that you can use on your screen and clean your machine. I don't have air to blow out my keyboard. I should. But I do that usually weekly, just so that, and think about it, all the germs that you're putting on there from your hands. It's always good to kind of start from scratch, get your screen clear. Oh yeah. And then they sneeze right when they're looking at your computer. It's like, why is my return key all sticky? Oh yeah. Luckily I have her iPad, so that gets the most abuse, and I steer clear of her. Obviously you don't want to hand your computer over to your kid. So, oh, no, my daughter just had strep throat, so that's another thing. All right, she's better now though. Any questions in regards to what we went over so far? I know we kind of went over a lot of things. Okay. Did you guys want a little short break, or do you want me to go forward with the discussions? We're not going to go crazy with the discussions. I just want to do a quick overview. Okay. Why don't we do like a 5-minute break? We'll go back at it, and then that way I can go over your discussions, and then we'll get right into your assignment and assessment. Sound good? We'll take a 5-minute break. Okay, I'll be right back, and we'll go right at it. All right, can you guys hear me? Woohoo. All right, welcome back. Okay, so before we get started in the discussion, I was thinking about my experiences as a designer, and I wanted to share just a few with you about things that I've walked into when I was working for ad agencies and publication companies in the past. Um, you never know what you're kind of walking into when you get a job somewhere. So it's really important that you understand that everybody has their own way of organization in regards to the files that they have on their computers and how they back up. So I've worked for companies that are small agencies that, you're welcome, that do things way differently than a little bit larger, medium-sized companies do. So I've had experience walking in a place that has really unorganized structure, and a designer that may not be really good at organizing themselves, and having that challenge of, okay, how do I work with someone who is so unorganized, who never probably had an education in regards to that, and so that I can be effective and efficient. And sometimes you are provided with these challenges that you kind of have to make the best of. I had an example where I walked into an ad agency that, like I said, the designer was very unorganized, and I had several times when I was opening up duplicate files because he kept saving them as version 2, version 3, version 4. There you go. That's a good thing, Stephanie. So I was opening up older versions, not knowing, because the files were everywhere, and I was basically sending the client older versions, making newer revisions, and then the client would get upset because they were like, well, these other changes should have been made. So it was a nightmare, and it makes you look bad, no matter who you are, even if you're trying your best to be as organized. If you are getting into a situation where you're working with somebody who's not organized, it can be very frustrating. So do your best to know the proper ways to organize, and that way you're not doing it to somebody else. And then I've worked for places that are super organized, like Stephanie says she's OCD. A lot of designers can have that OCD quality, which is great. But I've worked for companies that have their own system, and it works, and it's streamlined, and it's makes sense, and it's super easy to use. I worked for a publication company. Everything was on a one big hard drive for the company, and you would know if you were altering a file. It was like kind of like a communal hard drive, and if you copy that file over to revise it, there was a specific way that that they would know that that file was being revised. So there's different companies do it differently. So you might walk into a situation where you're not used to it. Just kind of know their system, work with their system. If they don't have a system, there you go. You can kind of be the chief operator of organization there and kind of set your own organizational system. But most places do, unless you're kind of a freelancer. Obviously, you have your own system. But yeah, oh my. I remember those floppy disks. Oh yeah. That's so funny. My first computer when I was when I was 7. My dad bought us an Apple IIc computer, and it was like one of those. It was like a 4-inch screen that was black and green, had a dot matrix printer. It was like $7,000. Oregon Trail lemonade stand. Yep. I should have kept it, because I probably would have had a nice piece to sell on eBay or something, right? But yeah, so 386. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. Things have changed for sure. But I wanted to share those experiences with you guys. Yeah. Because I think that sometimes we don't think beyond school. And when we get to that place where we want to go, get a job in the workforce, there's definitely, and you might be walking in a situation where it's all PCs. I've had that where I was trained on more Mac computers, Apple computers, and then I walk into a job they're all PC. So they're relics. So just kind of knowing that you might run into different situations, it's important that you're prepared as much as possible with being organized on your behalf. Okay, so discussion one, overview. Let's take a look at that. And basically, it's basically what we've been talking about. There's two discussions in your course this week, as well as all the other weeks. So make sure you're participating in both. And I'm not going to read through all of this because I think you guys can do that yourselves, and I don't want to bore you. But basically, we talked about system hardware and software defined, talks about that, system maintenance, strategic backup plans, basically everything we've been going over. Excuse me. So it's just talking about how to keep it healthy, your computer and your software healthy, strategies. So the question here is, you're going to conduct your prompts, conduct research system backups, you're going to research that, and computer maintenance strategies that are considered best practices. Then you're going to identify any habits that you developed with your computer maintenance that may be deemed a bad habit. What habits do you think designers can develop, and which of these do you think could turn into a negative habit for them? When you respond to your peers, consider questioning one another on whether the habits they are keeping or willing to change would offer the opposite outcome they expect or may not work in a work environment. Please explain your reasoning. And then make sure you have all of the proper requirements, which are your citations, how many words, all that good stuff. And then also, don't forget about citing your resources. I started this discussion out with my kind of a little 2 cents here. So hopefully that gets you started in a direction that you need to go and sparks some ideas that you could think about when you're posting. I did notice a lot of you guys are posting in here, and it's great to see the conversations getting started. So make sure you're responding to your peers throughout the week, at least 2, and then also posting your initial post before Wednesday by midnight for your possible full credit. Shannon's also going to be plugging her 2 cents in here every week for discussions. If you are struggling to, kind of understand the prompt or the discussion overall, so you can check out her video as well. Any questions about that? Like I said, I'm going to go over this quickly because I know this is kind of like redundant for me to read every single word because you guys are going to be reading that anyway, or have read. Okay. Discussion 2, we're going to be talking about cloud-based storage. Okay, so read over your career relevancy, how that is relevant to your career. Read over the background of what this is all about, which is talking about cloud-based storage. For this prompt, I'm going to read this because I think that's important. Imagine that you're attending a design club where you meet a student nearing the end of their bachelor's degree. When you tell them that you are new to the program, they remark that they are jealous of your new computer. Their computer, which is a few years old, and has all their design files saved on it, is getting slow. They're pretty sure they will need a new one, but cannot afford it. Consider what you would discuss with the student as far as options for increased computer performance. Go. In your opinion, do you think cloud storage would be the best option for anyone having problems with their computer? If so, why and why not? What options do you think could be just as good or even better? Play devil's advocate on this too. When you're responding to your peers, pose a different view, pose a different perspective of maybe how they're viewing it. What are the pros and cons of cloud-based storage? Think about that. You can reference, your citation can come from that. You can have facts about pros and cons, or facts about a certain cloud-based app that you want to kind of support your perspective within your post. And just a little tidbit, just like in a thesis paper, when you write your discussion, your citation should not end the entire post. So what I mean by that is when you write in your, in your own words, you're writing your discussion and then you paste in your citation, it shouldn't end your actual post. When you paste your citation in, make sure right after that citation is noted in your post, you want to write in your own words right after that is posted in there. why you use that citation, or just a little bit of a blurb of what makes that citation important to you and why you put it in there. Just because that's kind of using your critical thinking skills. You're not just copying, pasting it in there. I'm understanding why you posted that in there. I'm seeing your side of it. So just kind of, in your own words, sum that up after you post your citation. Okay? Any questions about this? And, you know, all the rules reply with the reply requirements. Okay. And feel free to post images. You can cite them, you know, if you're pulling them from a website. You can, infographics are great. If you search for, you know, I'm going to do cloud-based storage infographics. You could do keywords like that in your image, Google image search. Let's see if I can do that here. Cloud-based storage infographic. I don't know, maybe there would be some really cool infographics that you can put in there about cloud-based storage. There's a template though. Let's see here. Yeah, you can find some really cool things in here. You know, maybe cloud versus external graphic. Just to give you an idea, do an image search for that, just to see if there's any really cool infographics that kind of show both, here we go, both pros and cons, you know, verse. So, you know, just something to think about that you can also plug in there. Just make sure you're citing it. So let's say if you want to use this infographic, you would click right on there and just note the URL that it came with, what site it came on, and, you know, if somebody has rights or an article that was written, you want to add their name and the date that you pulled it from. Okay. This is kind of nice because it's a visual and we're all visual people. So in your discussion, it's kind of nice to see a nice little infographic too. Okay. Okay. So that's week 1, discussion 1 and discussion 2. So you guys have a little bit more of discussing to go on this week, but, you know, hopefully that, you know, you can get started on that as soon as possible. And that way it's not so much like the last minute type of activity. All right. I don't know why I just have my assessment. I'm actually going to go over your assignment one first, and then we're going to go over your assessment one. So let's go ahead and do that now. Get out of there. Did anyone get started on this yet, your assignment? Okay. I'm going to kind of put a little, blurb before I get started here. I actually, okay. I'm not sure if I updated my system software recently on my computer. I have Catalina, and I'm not sure. I'm having a little bit of an issue with part of this assignment because, and it's an option, and we'll go through this here. But one of the issues I'm having is connecting my mic up and recording on my presentation through PowerPoint. For some reason, it's telling me I don't have a plugin. So you might run into the same issue. It might be a software issue. I kind of was trying to run through the demo myself and I could not get it to fully record. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys another resource that will help you go through how to record, because part of this is, it's an option. You can record your presentation. And if that's something that you want to do, I'm going to provide you with a resource to, it kind of shows you step by step on how to do it. Now that is an option. You don't necessarily have to do the recording. So I just wanted to put that out there in the beginning so you guys know my struggles are, I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. Okay, so assignment 1, we're going to talk about system backup options. Go ahead and read through the career relevancy in the background. This kind of talks about, you know, why we're doing this particular assignment, gives you a little bit of a background about how, you know, external and cloud-based options. This also can help you in your discussions if you kind of read through that. So I'm going to go, there's a quick little video here about backup versus cloud backup you can watch as well. I'm going to skip right down here to the prompt. And it looks like a lot of stuff, but I think once you go step by step, you'll be good. Okay, so don't let it overwhelm you. And I'm going to go through it step by step too. Okay, so in this assignment, you'll be creating a PowerPoint presentation, and this is the important part, in either a Microsoft Word written script or an audio narration analyzing system backup options. So you can choose. Now, obviously, mine's not working, so if I were you, if that were to happen on your end, I would just do the Microsoft Word written script. But again, I'm going to give you that resource so that you can check and see if yours is working or not. Your presentation and script need to address the following questions. So basically, these 12 questions are what you're going to be answering in your PowerPoint. Okay, so what does it mean to back up your system? Why is backing up a good idea? What could happen if you do not back up your system? What is a cloud-based backups device? And so on and so forth. So it goes through all of these questions. The assignment requirements, your presentation is a minimum of 12 slides. You can go over 12 slides, that's just a minimum. You're going to include an opening title slide with your name and presentation title and a closing reference slide. You may choose a pre-made template or work from a blank presentation. Implement slide design best practices you have learned in previous classes, and address all questions in the prompt. The script is a minimum of 500 words. At least 2 citations should be included. You can use Microsoft Office, or you should use Microsoft Office. Address all questions in the prompt. Pay close attention to spelling and grammar. Yeah, good. So if you're familiar with PowerPoint, that's great. Audio narration. This is where I kind of had a little issue. So, but if yours is working, a minimum of 4 minutes in length is good. Use PowerPoint to record your narration along with your slides. Good. Everybody's loving PowerPoint. Talk through all the questions in the prompt. So this is where the script is nice. So you can have your script. If you do the audio narration, you can have your script kind of on the side and you can read off of that. So it kind of makes it easier too. So be sure to speak in a clear, easy to understand manner. And then your submission requirements, you're going to save your presentation as follows with your first and last name, and then you're going to upload it. Save your script as shown right there, the name provided, and upload that as well. And then you're going to export your presentation recording and upload it if you have that. If you don't do the recording, it's fine. As long as you have your script in there, you're good. Any questions about that? How do you cite an image? Okay. So it doesn't say whether you cite an APA. So I'm going to go, I think everything in here is APA citation image on web. I'm going to get that for you. Okay, so basically online images, we're going with the APA 6th edition. Your basic format is the artist last name with a comma, first initial, second initial, and then the image without the author, title of work. Oh, this is the image without the author. So if you don't have an author, you could just put the title of work, type of work, and then so on and so forth. Let me click on this. Maybe they have a visual here. Here we go. So this is online images, basic format. So here we go. I'm gonna paste that in there. And then that's if you have the artist name. If you don't have the artist name, this is what it will look like. So you'll have the title of work, type of work, year it was created, and retrieved from the, so you'd have the URL. Image with no author, title, or date. You just have the subject and type of work, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so the script will basically be answering those questions, Stephanie. And you can kind of divulge a little bit more beyond this, the slides that you're creating. So you could put like a keyword on your slide, and then in your script, you can say more about it if you would like. Okay, there is something Word that we can use. Oh yeah, the citation in Word, yep. Stephanie, if you look through online images through PowerPoint, it usually adds a citation for you. Yes, so if you add like an image, like you slide it over, it'll cite it for you. You just have to make sure that your PowerPoint, you know, you have it. I think it's set on the back page here. Let's see. Choose a reference page. Yeah, if you want to just have the image, you know, when you slide it over, if it's already cited within your PowerPoint, when you slide the image over, you don't have to worry about adding a reference slide. So, I would say probably, there's 2 citations here. Probably, I would say have at least 2 citations in your written script, but your images, you don't have to cite in your written script. Just images should be cited on your PowerPoint. That way you're not like doing double work. Does that make sense? Oh, the references, if you are, yeah, I would just do this. References on your reference slide would just be what's referenced. Say if you're referencing citations, say if you're gathering facts, information, you want to reference it on your reference slide. If you're gathering images from other external sources, then you want to reference that as well on your PowerPoint. We need a cite if we record. There is an option to record in PowerPoint, although I'll show you kind of the problem that I'm running into in a second here, but I will give you like a resource, like I said, a how-to video to check to see if yours is working. I'm going to show you kind of what I'm seeing on my end so that we can go forward with that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just take all of these questions here and I'm going to copy this, file copy. And I'm going to open up Word and paste these questions in here. Give me 1 second. Share my screen here. So basically, you're going to create a presentation and you're going to create a script. Whether you record it or not is up to you. So put your name, class, maybe date, April 20. And then I would just do like assignment 1, script. And then paste in your questions. And then that way you can go in here. It doesn't have to be written like a paper, but you can go in here and go ahead and put spaces in so you can answer those questions. And then what's nice about this, I would probably start here first. You can do your spell check. You can paste in your answers. And then when you're ready to create your slides, you just pull from this. Does that make sense? Because this is basically what you're going to be answering on your slide. Oops. What am I doing? I'm just putting spaces here so I can, there we go. Add my information. Go ahead and save it. Make dollars. Let's see, assignment 1. First and last name. Let me see how it says here. Your script should be first, last name. Oh, it's a doc, so yeah. Okay, I'm gonna save this to my, okay. I'm gonna also show you, I'm gonna save this to my desktop, but if you have your document set up, which is on your, I should probably do that first. I'm gonna save it on my documents. That is your hard drive, not on your desktop. So that's a good habit to get into. I'm gonna save it there. You'll see it when I show you the assessment, but we'll just save it there for now. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so then you can go in here and answer it. You know, you can go in and say, okay, I'm going to do some research. How do I want to say it? My own words. Do I want to cite cite factual information and then add in stuff in here too. Completely up to you. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. I was trying to do this like a cooking show where you'd have a before and after, and I just started getting started. I don't have to show you exactly everything because I don't want to give you all the information either. I want you guys to be able to, you know, research these questions and do it yourself as well. But I did pull this information here and I wanted to show you real quick. And I pulled this from a source and then I cited that source. And I'm gonna have to go back to that website and actually get that information here. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm answering this question. I'm providing a little bit of I'm providing a citation in here. And then what I want to do is I want to add in my 2 cents. I'm going to delete this. After my citation, I'm just going to kind of add in my 2 cents. So files information should be backed up I don't know. I'm just doing something just to show you like how I would sum it up, but you know, do it a little bit better than I am, just kind of quickly putting that in there. And then this citation would go at the very end of your PowerPoint presentation. Now this is just a URL. I would cite it how I showed you in the chat there as APA formatted. But that's how you could start your first question or your answer to your first question. And then this can be transferred over to your PowerPoint. Okay. Second question. Did I lose second question? Why is backing up important? I think I lost that one. Nope. I think my numbers got screwed up here. Okay. So you're going to go through each question. I think I have 12 for you. And answer each one. So why is backing up a good idea? What could happen? What is a cloud-based backup device? We talked about this earlier today. You can list those on what it is, and then you can list, you know, brands or, yeah, brands of those, like we talked about today. How does it work? What are the positives, the pros and cons? What are some example sites? And here you can actually maybe even show the logo of you know, each example. What is an external backup device? How does it work? So you're going to be kind of comparing the two, cloud-based and external, positives, negatives. What are some examples? You can show a picture, write brands. Moving forward, the last slide, moving forward as a student, how will you be backing up your computer? And you can put your, you know, obviously your perspective there. This script, you can copy and paste, like I said, into your presentation if it makes sense for your slides. It doesn't have to be all of it, but you know, you're going to answer the question, and then whenever you send your PowerPoint, you're gonna do a spell check here too, by the way, before you send it. But you're going to basically, and you can do that up here, spelling and grammar. You're going to submit this as a doc file and your PowerPoint with it. And then if you decide that you want to do an audio narration, which is optional, and you can do it, I would just pull this aside, you know, use this, have your presentation up, have this so it's not showing, and then go ahead and read through each of these. And that just kind of makes it nice because you're not just going by the top of your head, you know, you can have something as to read off of. Does that make sense? Kind of makes you more confident in what you're saying, and you can take your time and think about things. Okay. So you can go ahead and save that. And then go ahead and open up PowerPoint. And I'm going to close out of here. I'm going to share my whole desktop here. So you're going to see everything. 1 second. go ahead and open up PowerPoint, and it's completely up to you. I may have different themes than you. You can actually download free themes too. It's completely up to you too. There's free themes online, or you can just use what's in here. You can even do a blank template from start, you know, and kind of, I have these nice little design ideas to the right of mine that I can choose to start with. Kind of some cool things. Click this to add. So you're going to start by just clicking each slide. You're going to add new slides by going up here into your home area, clicking down here and choosing a slide that will, you know, be appropriate for each question that you have listed. And you should have 12, at least a minimum of 12. Exactly, yep. So let's go ahead and save this now, file save as. Let's save this to my documents. And what would be good for you guys to do is, and we're gonna be doing this in assessment, so I'm not gonna show you this right now, is to set up your folder for this class, but I'm gonna show you that after we go over this. Go ahead and name it. I'm going to save it to my document. It says a PowerPoint. PPTX is your PowerPoint presentation. You don't want anything else other than that. Save. And then this is where you can go in and let me click on this one. You can change it up here. Oops. I have so many things kind of popping up here. Remember that little blurb I put in here? I'm actually going to go in here and paste this in here. Now I can change the size of this. If it's too much, I could take some out. Now a lot of it is a citation, so it's a lot. It's a lot. You could change the fonts, you know, if you wanted to, you could change that. Completely up to you on how you want to design this. I'm trying to think of something that would be easy to read here. Let me do regular, Arial. A little smaller here. And then you can post your question here. And I'm sure you're going to make it a lot nicer than what I'm doing here. It's just I'm doing this very quickly. And maybe this isn't the best design idea here. Let me see what else looks better here. Maybe something like that. That's hard to read. And do like a little return here. There we go. Something like that. Then you go on to the next slide, which would be the next question. Okay. And then you can add images in here if you want, depending on, you know, the template that you're going to choose. There's so much to do. Yeah. There is a lot of info. Typically, you don't want to have so much info like that, but my citation is really long, so that's why it is, or else I would probably just have like this. Maybe like 3 or 4 lines of text. You can use this type of a divided type of a look here. Why is backing up a good idea? What could happen if you do not back up? You know, you can list certain things here. It's completely up to you. But basically, you're going to be adding slides. Let's do blank slides here. Let's see, let me bring up my example because I kind of had already one, like a cooking show. I have one that I did very quickly to show you guys here. And the very start of mine, I forgot to tell you guys this too, you want to make sure that you name it something that's relatable to your slide and what's information's going on in here. I just put backing up, and then I put our class number, assignment 1, and then my name. This will be counted as your first slide. Then the second slide is kind of what I just showed you. And I have a little, this is what you can do too. If you want to reference it here, now I would probably add my 2 cents down here too, but if you wanted to just add a number 1 to reference it, and then once you get down to your last slide, you can add your references on the slide and then have the number indicated here where it's citing to. Now I would definitely change this to be an APA citation because I only have a URL here. I just quickly did it just for purposes of showing you guys, but that's something that you can do too. That way you're not citing it all on the same slide. And if it's not an image, that's kind of how you can treat that. But each one of these will have your questions, you know, that are pertinent to what's listed. And then you can change up the slides based on each information. Here's one about positive and negatives of cloud-based backup devices. You can list them left side. It says you can have these on 2 different slides, but I put them on the same slide. Pros and cons. Examples you can place in there. Now I'm not going to answer all of these because I want you to do that. So I don't want to give you all the answers, but I just want to show you how I would lay this out, you know, quickly on my end. And then the last slide would be references. So the design is up to you. Have fun with that. Organize it so that it's easy to read, you know, do your due diligence as a designer to make it easier to read. Less, you know, you don't want a lot of copy here, but, you know, you don't want it to be filled up completely with tons of copy, but you want to have enough information that you're answering that, the questions there. Any questions about that? Okay, so then you would just save this as a PowerPoint. Okay. Now I just want to show you really quickly the problem that I was running into that I couldn't quite figure out before we did the lecture. I kind of was thinking, oh yeah, I could record this. But then when I went to go record it, it wasn't working for me. And I'm not quite sure if it's because I'm in a completely, my system is, I've been having a little bit of issues with certain programs. So I'm not sure if it's a system software issue, but I just want to show you quickly. If you run into the same problem, then, you know, obviously you don't have to do the narration if you don't have to. It's an option, okay? But I do want to show you what I kind of ran into. Okay, so, and you know, of course, if you see anything that I'm doing wrong, if you're really privy to PowerPoint, you let me know too, because we can all learn from each other. Okay, so I go to insert, and the thing that I want to see here, actually let me go to slideshow. When I go to slideshow, my menu bar, I can see there's a record slideshow. And what I should see here, when I click on this, you know, it looks like it's recording, and maybe it is, and it's giving me a little timeline here, but I don't see any recording button. I can go to each slide, and it looks like it's recording. But when I stop it, there's no way to kind of save it. So I'm having issues with that. There should be in the drop-down menu and other options here that I'm not seeing either. So, you know, like I said, I'm kind of running into this, you know, when I click on this little drop-down menu, I should have 2 other options here and I don't see it. So when I go to insert, because I was looking up the issue, I went to go check my audio and my video. And when I go to, because this is another way you can do it, you can record audio over top of your, you can add audio into your presentation. If I go to record audio, this is the error message I'm getting. PowerPoint cannot perform this operation because the audio recording device is unavailable. Check to see if the audio recording device is plugged in and if it's working, and then try again. So that's kind of where I kind of ended up, and I was like, okay. Well, I went into my system's preferences and I went to my sound to check if my mic was on, and everything looks good there. Well, you know, because that was before I even was on Zoom. That was a good thing to bring up. Might be a driver issue, yeah. So what I'm gonna do, I have, in the meantime, because I didn't give myself too much time when I figured out I didn't think I was gonna have an issue, I have a resource for you guys, and I'll post this in announcements too, that I watched, and it seems like it goes through very, very simply the steps that you'll need to do if you want to add audio to your presentation. Okay. Yeah, if anybody figures it out, if you have the same issue, you know, if you figure it out, let me know, and I'm going to try to figure it out too. I'm not quite sure what's going on. There's a video option too. You can insert a video from the file. You can insert audio from a file too. So if you know a way to record audio, you can maybe try to import it from here and import into your presentation too. So that's an option. In the video that I posted, it kind of explains it a little bit more in detail. I just can't get past, you know, she goes in and explains the whole record audio, and she has more features than I do. So I can't go any further than that. She clicks on record audio in that video link that I gave to you, but I don't. She has another option. I have an error message. So you might not have this error message when you go to audio. So definitely check that out. And like I said, if I figure out what's going on, I will let you guys know as soon as possible. But good thing that it's only an option. It would be nice to know how to do that though. In terms of, you know, what's required for this actual assignment. But you definitely need a script. So just kind of know that, okay? And like I said, I'll try to figure it out. And if we can't figure it out, we just go forward from there. Minimum of 4 minutes in length if you do the audio narration, just kind of some things to keep in mind. Use PowerPoint to record your narration along with the slides, talk through all your questions and your prompt, and be sure to speak smoothly and clearly. Like I said, I went up here to slideshow, went to record. It looks like it's recording, but it's not allowing me to export or save, you know, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. It's one of those things. But if it works for you, that's great. And I like to figure it out myself, so we'll see what happens. All right. Also, just kind of keep in mind, you might want to go through your I call this a checklist. It's really your rubrics. This is how I will be evaluating your work. So, you know, read through the criteria and just make sure that you're, you know, checking all of these criteria options are complete before you submit. Feel free, if you want to, zip your files together, compress them so that you're not uploading 3 different files. You can zip them if you would like. Does anybody need a how to zip tutorial? And I'm going to be probably doing that in the next assessment. Okay, I'll show you that in the next demo that I'm going to do for assessment. Does anybody else have any other questions about that besides the audio issue and recording issue? Does that make sense of what needs to be complete? Okay. Yeah, don't get yourself, like, if your audio narration doesn't work, don't freak out. It's an option. Just make sure you have your script in there. Okay. Okay, so let's go on and get through, because we got so a little bit of time here. And let's click on your assessment. Check this out here. So you're going to be doing some file organization in regards to your system maintenance. And I think this will be a really easy thing that you guys can get done as soon as possible. You can actually start with this first if you want to. Okay, good, Joseph. So yours is working. See, that's not working on my end. Are you up? Let me ask you a question. What system software are you working off of? Are you on Catalina? Okay. Oh, maybe I need to do an update. I'll have to check that and see. Maybe there's an update or something that I need. Okay, good to know. I'll have to dig in a little deeper here. All right, so you're gonna read through the career relevancy and then read through the background about staying organized, file folders, performing system maintenance, backups. You got Catalina too? Okay. Like I said, I just posted that link. I'll post it to announcements. She explains it very clearly how to do it. So since I cannot demo it on my end, definitely check out that video. I just pasted in there. All right, so in this assessment, you will set up a file folder structure for all your 100 level courses. This file folder structure will keep you organized both in this course and in your future classes. In addition, you will set up a free cloud-based storage account and backup schedule. This will ensure that you are regularly saving your work in multiple locations. This means if anything happens to your computer while you are a student, you will not lose any valuable portfolio projects. This assessment has 4 parts to it. Be sure to do every part so you can get full credit. You can download a set of step-by-step instructions here or see them below. All right, so let's go over the first, setting up your file folder structure. You may have started this already. Open your Finder. You're going to click on your Documents folder. So I'm going to just show you, I think I'm sharing my, make sure I'm sharing my desktop here. I'm on a Mac, so mine looks a little different. So I'm actually going to go click on my desktop, and I'm going to go up to Go on my File menu, and I'm going to choose Documents. Now, I have several documents in here because I created a file before we even did this lecture for myself. So I have a document folder in here. This is instructions for assignment 1, and then this is my PowerPoint that I just saved to, and this is my Zoom session. So just ignore this. Yours will probably either be empty or have your files in it. This is the documents folder. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go up to File, New Folder on your menu bar once you have that open, and it's going to create a folder in there, and you're going to name this DGD101. And you're going to double click on it. If you have it tiered like I do, because you can have these different options, mine's kind of tiering as I'm looking into it. You don't have to double click, it just shows it in this area, in this column. Then you're going to create another folder. So go File, New Folder, and we're going to do Week 1. We're going to name that. We're going to do that again. New folder, Week 2. So I'm just clicking into that folder and just going up to File, New Folder, Week 3. If you find that if you find this happening where you go File, New Folder, and it unselects, all you need to do is just double click over top of the word. Right? It's not doing it now. One click on my trackpad and select it so that you can change the name. So you should have Week 1, 2, 3, and 4 within your DGD 101. Okay, any questions about that? Pretty easy, right? That's the first step. Okay, so you're just going to repeat that. So here it says you're going to repeat process. This is number 10. You're going to repeat this process 3 more times with a new folder. And you're going to repeat these 3 or 4 times to create folders for the following classes. Okay. Okay, so yeah, many of you have done this before. All right, so with your documents selected, you're going to create a new folder again, just like you did DGD 101, but you're going to name this DGG 104. You're going to do another one, DGD, and I'm just listing this off of what's given here, 105. Oops, not that. New folder, DGD 105. We got 106. DGD 140. Yep, I'm taking all those classes. So we have 101, 104, 105, 106, 140, and that's all listed right here. Okay. Now I think this is the easiest way to do it, so you're not going through and adding Week 1, Week 2. I would go back to your DGD 101. If you did all these folders, I would just highlight all of them. You would just select all by clicking and dragging up or down, or do a Shift Select. This is just a little time saver. And you would do either a Command C with those selected, or go up to Edit, copy all 4 items, and go into each folder. So I'd select DGD 104. Once that's selected, then I would do Edit, Paste 4 items, or Command V. That's just like a time saver. And you can do the same thing for DGD105. Do the same thing for DGD106. And the same thing for DGD140. That's a good question. Actually, I think you have to upload the favicon. So you would download the app on your computer in order to see it on your computer. Because even though you can access it online, doesn't necessarily mean you have it uploaded to your computer. So you would just go to, and we're kind of getting off topic here, hold on one second. You would just go to Google Drive. And I think I'm already in here, but you would just download it here. And you might need to sign in and all that good stuff, but okay. All right, yeah, it is a time saver for sure. All right, so when you're done with that, let me go back to my documents here. When you have all 5 folders, now I have, it's hard to see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in there. Take a screenshot. So you're going to do a Command-Shift-3. And then that screenshot's going to go right onto your desktop. And that's okay. Leave that on your desktop. Leave that right there because we're going to throw that into a folder when we're done here. Okay, so just take a screenshot. This screenshot, if you double click on it, you'll see it's showing you all the folders in here, in the actual folders here. Double click on each folder and you're going to take a screenshot of each. So that was just for 140. We're going to do one for 106. So another screenshot, Command-Shift-3 for 106, 105, 104, and 101. So just so that I can see that you have all of those folders within each folder itself. So you should have 5 folders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 screenshots, not folders, 5 screenshots and folders. When you've completed this part of the project, you should have 6 screenshots total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's my 6th one? Okay. Any questions about that? That's pretty easy, right? All right, part 2, setting up a free cloud-based storage. Now you might already have this set up and that's fine. I do, so you'll see it kind of how I see it on my end. You're gonna open up your internet browser. You're gonna type in drive.google.com into your address bar. Okay, good. You're gonna click on create account if you don't have one. Walk through the steps, filling in appropriate information to create your account. If you already have a Google account, simply enter your login information here to go to your drive. Okay, so let's go file. I'm gonna go file new tab, paste in that, hit return. I already have an account, so if you're new, you might need to sign up before it gets to this point. And once you do, it'll be empty. Mine's full of stuff here. When you get to the drive page, click on the new button in the upper left-hand corner of the page. Okay, so this is what they're talking about, this new button. And we're going to create a new folder. So click on folder, choose a folder, and then name your folder DGD101. Click create. And you'll notice it's right here. Okay. With your folder open, you can click on to open your folder, and then with your folder open, click on the Finder and navigate to your documents where you previously created your folder. So I'm going to double click on this. So this is open now. Now I have to navigate over to my documents folder where I have all my folders here. Okay. Okay, with the folder open where you previously created your folder, click on the Finder, navigate, click and hold onto your DGD101 folder and drag it so that it's on top of your Google window. So let's go ahead and do that. So I have it kind of side by side, just the 101 folder. We're going to drag and drop right over here. You can see it's downloading. Take a screenshot, Shift Command 3 of your Google folder and with your DGD folder inside of it. That's all. So just do another, another Command Shift 3, and that's going to go on your desktop. Right there. Okay. Any questions about that? That's all you have to do there. And if you already had it set up, that's fine. Just create that folder, take a screenshot. Yep, pretty easy. That's it. Part 3, setting up a backup reminder using the Reminders app. So you're going to navigate to your dock and click on your Launchpad to open it. Here's my Launchpad. It's a little rocket. And then what we're going to do, we're going to click on the Reminders application once we get in there. So once I click it, you're going to see this. I don't know if you guys can see this. Click on Reminders. And when I click on Reminders, oops, where'd it go? It's going to give me this new little reminder list. Has anybody ever used this before? Just curious. There you go. Yay. Just Jose's on top of it there. You use yours every day. Good. I use mine on my phone a lot. So I have it on my iPhone. All right, so this is something new for some of you. That's good. All right, so once it's open, you're going to click on Reminders application. When your new reminder panel opens, click on the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. Now, right here is the plus sign here. So click on that, and you're going to see a little blinker there, and it's going to, let's see here, you're going to type in the phrase, and this is on number 4 in this part here, backup computer. That's what you're going to place in there. Okay, number 5, hover to the far right of the word you just typed and click on the lowercase I. In the new panel that opens, check that box that says on a day. Navigate down to repeat and click on none. It's already set to none. Oh, you're going to click on this part, and then you're going to change this to every month. So I should say from none to every month. Click done in the lower right-hand corner. And I think you could just click right off on there. When you are finished and have your reminder set for once a month, take a screenshot. So again, Command Shift 3, and this takes a screenshot of that. Okay, any questions about that? All right, moving on along. And that just, puts another screenshot on my desktop. Now this is where we can put all of those screenshots together, and I'm going to show you how to zip for those of you who don't know how to compress and zip a file. So you're going to close or minimize all open windows. So all you see is your desktop. You're going to go to File, New Folder. With your new folder selected, you're going to click on File, Rename, and you're going to delete the untitled folder, and instead you're going to retype this DGD101 Assessment 1. You're going to click on each screenshot and drag it into this folder. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so desktop, go up to File, New Folder. Here's the new folder. I'm going to click right over top. I'm going to paste in the name that it was said. And then I'm going to go ahead and take all of my screenshots. 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to dump it right into that folder. So if I double click on it, you can see all 8 of my files are in there. Excuse me. You should have all 8 screenshots in this folder. You're going to close the folder. You're going to single click on the folder to select it, and then you're going to go to File, Compress DGD101, and then you'll see a zip file be created. So with this folder selected, you're going to go up to File, and you're going to go to Compress DGD101. There's also another way to do this too, but I'm going to show you this way first. And basically what that's doing is just zipping it so that this is the sole file that you need to submit. And then when I get it, I'll just unzip it, and this is what I'll see. There's another way you can zip this if you're on a Mac. If you select the folder and you choose Control, Option, you don't have to do Option, just the Control, and then click on top of the folder, and you can also choose Compress here. you should see a new file created that ends up in zip, which is the file that you will submit for this assessment. Any questions about that? Nope, pretty easy. All right. So now you know how to zip if you were having questions about that. Now don't forget to, again, read through your rubrics here, all the objectives, criteria that you should be hitting for this assessment to get full credit. Yep. So, you know, it looks like a lot of stuff, but I think once you guys go through it step by step, it should be pretty easy. The only snafu that I kind of am like, I wish I could figure out is the assignment recording for narration. Like I said, if I figure out a way, what's going on my end, for those of you who have the same issue, then I'll let you know. If not, don't worry about it. Just do the written script and use that link. This is the link here. I'm going to paste it in there again. If you want to try to go step by step using those instructions for narration. Okay. I think that's pretty much where we're going to wrap it up. I know we went over a lot of information. This is always kind of crazy, the beginning of the class, but, you know, it's a lot of beginning information too. So the next time we meet up, it won't be the whole introduction part. We'll get right into the information. And then also don't forget the multi-session this week with Shannon if you want to, if you need extra help as well. Stephanie, are you going to announce the keynotes for the live lecture quiz? That's a good, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because I forgot to go over that. The live lecture quiz is something that you'll definitely want to do after the live lecture is watched or that you're here. I'm not going to go over keynotes. I don't know. If you watch the lecture, you should have the keynotes. I feel like it should all be there. It's very short. I think it's only 5 questions. Okay, keynotes. Okay. All right, well, let me think about this and just keep an eye out for announcements and, you know, maybe I'll post something to send you guys. There's 4, okay. All right. Good, good, good. All right, so, you know, just note that in the live session area, my recording link, and I didn't mention this earlier, will be placed under here in the week 1 section after the session 4 here. So once this is done processing, I'll place it here. Don't forget to, you have pre-recorded lectures that you need to watch too. Some of these are shorter than others. Make sure you're watching those as well for that quiz so that you have all of the information. All right. All right, guys, so I will be placing a couple announcements today. Keep an eye out for that, and you guys have a great day. Thanks for coming in, and I'm looking forward to starting this journey with you guys. All right, stay safe. See you guys soon, okay? Have a good one.